while I have you and ask you about legislation that you are putting forward. I'll just read what you've said. Millions of Americans consume poisonous food dyes and sweeteners like high fructose corn syrup daily. I'm putting an end to that. I urge my colleagues to join me in this vital legislation. And I reposted this and I was like, my girl, speaking my language, something that I have been talking about for years. So tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so, up in Congress, we obviously have a lot of hats that we wear, but, one of the legislations that I've been very passionate about is really ensuring that all Americans, regardless of party affiliation or social class, have access to clean food. And what we're finding is even on some of these food stamp programs, which I don't know if you know my story, Sarah, which I think you do, but I actually grew up using food stamps. And, we are subsidizing government poison that's making some of the poorest people in our country sick. And ultimately, that contributes to more debt and also to shorter life expectancies, to infertilities. And really, I think the people that are being hurt the most are our children. And so what we're finding is a lot of these artificial food dyes that are banned, mind you, in a lot of countries like Australia and parts of Europe and in Asia are actually linked to cancer, infertility, ADHD, and it's really hurting our kids and hurting our people. And so what I'm trying to do is ensure that that's taken out of our food. I think it's pretty sick that a lot of corporations are taking the cheap way out and basically are serving up poison to our families. And so I'm trying to remove that. And so hopefully it'll be bipartisan, but in the event that it's not, I'm hoping that when President Trump is sworn back into office this upcoming election cycle, that he will give me a word and hopefully we'll get it passed then.
From your lips to God's ears there. I hope that this is kind of a step. It needs to happen, but I hope that this is also a step towards just completely upending the FDA, because at the end of the day, I mean, they're the ones who are allowing all of these toxic chemicals and food dyes and all of these to be put into, Americans' food. And like you said, there are a lot of families who don't know, don't understand. They're not educated about it. And so I was surprised. Go ahead.
Sorry, they can't even afford it. I mean, to eat organic or to eat just healthy, normal food is so expensive now, especially with inflation. It's unattainable and it's unaffordable. But I think, speaking to the FDA, this job has made me so critical of the FDA because I've actually sat there and interviewed them. And just to put it in perspective, look, I am a border hawk. I don't want illegal immigration, but let me tell you what the Biden administration did. And this just kind of goes to show how hypocritical this administration is, even with their own messaging. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, there was that big pull of infant formula from consumer shelves. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why they were pulled is because during COVID, the FDA stopped inspecting the main manufacturing facility for all infant formula in the United States. Oh. And ultimately, what ended up happening is there was this massive outbreak of bacteria that actually causes death of 20% of infants that are exposed to it. So this was during COVID, so stay with me for a minute. So what ended up happening is they pulled this for American consumers. By the time it was probably already too late. So we still don't know the amount of infants that were killed because of this outbreak. But then after that, mind you, these corporations are required to self-report. So no corporation is going to do that because it's going to impact their reports for sales. Well, then they took that infected formula and they sent it to the border facilities where migrant children were. Golly. So to put in perspective, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's awful. Listen, I appreciate you. We are cheering you from here at Sara Gonzales Unfiltered in Texas. You are like just a spitfire. I'm so happy that you are in Congress, and we appreciate your time so much. Come back soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk soon. If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.